What's up, guys, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We have a very special episode ahead of us today. This is the largest airliner in the world. Welcome to the Antonov AN-225 MRIYA, which MRIYA stands for dream. It means dream in Ukrainian. So this is literally the largest plane to ever exist. There's no way they should have given me permission to fly this thing. And it looks like we're taxiing out here at JFK. I don't even know if we're going to be able to take off. I'm not sure if the runway's long enough. We're going to find out. It's clearly not long enough to make this turn. So things are going to get interesting here. And like I said, literally one of one, only one ever made. We are amongst a very elite machine here. This is the pinnacle of human engineering. Look at the interior of this bad boy. Oh my goodness, a little bit dated here. So it did have its first flight in 1988. So she's a bit of an old bird, but obviously very, very unique. We've got 6 flight crew up here. You've got your pilot, co-pilot, I think a couple engineers, a navigator, and somebody else. So it took a lot to be able to fly this thing, but you know, you kind of expect that when you're working with something this ridiculously large. I can hardly fit it in screen. Can I get the whole thing? Yeah, we've got to go GoPro fisheye to be able to see everything. This is just outrageous. We're just gonna send it. We'll see what happens. Oh my goodness, dude, look at the throttle on this thing. My goodness. All right, hopefully we're gonna be able to make it. I think is our brake on? Can we release our brake? Oop, there's our parking brake. All right, off we go. Let's see if we're gonna be able to take off and be able to get this whale of an aircraft. This thing, it's colossal. Everything about this is just so ridiculously big. I hope we can actually get enough airspeed. I'm not sure what our takeoff airspeed is, but we're just gonna send it all the way to the end and hope for the best. Just trying to keep her centered here. We are approaching the end of the runway. It's coming up awfully quick. Are we gonna be able to pull back? I think yes. So we are airborne. Look at the size of this thing, dude. This is just absolutely ridiculous. I mean, how is this even possible? How did we get to this point? Look at all these wheels. Go ahead and put the landing gear up here. We can try to watch how this works. Looks like our front ones are going up pretty quickly. Oh, they kind of like very slowly fold up in there. Interesting. That's not really what I was expecting, but all right, we are officially air ready. Just absolutely ridiculous, the size of this thing. Is that Manhattan down below us? Yeah, we're gonna have to go buzz the skyline down here. I mean, you talk about an empire state of mind. All the billionaires down there looking over Central Park and whatever else. Well, you don't have your own personal AN-225, largest aircraft in the world, to be able to mess with, do you? You might have your PJs and all, but we have the BJ, the biggest jet. Actually, this is perfect. We're about to fly by the Statue of Liberty. The wingspan on this thing, I think, is 290 feet wide. So the wingspan on this aircraft is wider than the Statue of Liberty is tall. We can kind of do like a little pass by it here. It's 275 feet long as well. The widest wingspan of any aircraft ever to exist, and she's honestly, when she's up to speed, she's fairly agile. Like I'm feeling pretty confident here. Gonna see if we can buzz the tops of the buildings and give everyone an absolute heart attack. I can't even imagine how loud this thing would be. All these billionaires on Billionaire Row. Yep, y'all think you're special. You've got that nice view of Central Park. Well, now you've got this massive behemoth just blowing all the trees over as we go by. This is incredible. She's yelling at me. I say we take a little trip up the Hudson to talk about the AN-225 a bit more. We just had a little Hudson fiasco in our last episode, so hopefully we don't have to touch down this time. This thing is just so big, dude. Oh my goodness. It's beautiful. I love the big tail here. It really truly does remind me of a whale in the sky. Like it looks like it's some sort of a big beluga whale with this big nose that opens up. This is actually like the big cargo door. It opens up. You can see that the writing, you know, when it opens up, it'll face so you can read it. Antonov Design Bureau international cargo transporter. This was designed by ADB, which is Antonov Design Bureau. It's a company out of Ukraine, and they originally made this thing to be able to transport the Soviet space shuttle. Their program was called the Buran, I think, something like that. It was supposed to attach here, and it was going to fly at home, you know, kind of like we did with our space shuttle back in the day. Eventually, that Buran space program was canceled, so they said, we've got this massive plane, it's the biggest in the world, let's just convert it into a giant cargo airship. Dude, what a flex. I love this thing. We're gonna have to try a barrel roll. I hope you guys know that. So yeah, everything about this plane is just absolutely massive. It broke so many world records. It's the biggest, the widest, the longest, the heaviest. It weighs 285 tons when it's empty. And like I said, it's a cargo plane. It can carry up to 250 tons of cargo, which a fully loaded one of these is over 500 tons. That's just almost impossible to think about. Let's go for it. I really hope we're going to be able to do this. Oh gosh, one of one aircraft, and he had to go for it. She's big, she's heavy, but she's got some steez, baby. That was nice and easy. The cool part about her is she made it possible to carry cargo that was never even fathomable previously. So she could carry 16 standard, like giant shipping containers, the big Connex boxes. She could carry up to 80 passenger cars, like normal cars at one time, diesel locomotives, wind turbine wings, and she could even carry a 737 fuselage just in her cargo bay. This is a plane shipping plane. You could literally ship a plane inside this plane. Oh my goodness, dude. This is just, it's so cool. A little bit nervous being upside down at this height, but we're gonna be fine. We could try a loop-the-loop, but I think that might be kind of a bad idea. I'm gonna lose some altitude. We're gonna go back down towards the ground. I'm amazed at how responsive she is, dude. Like this truly is just an incredible piece of machinery. So the cockpit you see here is pretty much it for like inhabitable areas. There's, you know, the cockpit is obviously right here, and I think there was kind of like a quarters for guests and people that were coming with the pilots, but you know, apart from the actual crew, the rest of the plane was just like one big cargo tunnel. There was no reason to have it any other way. You had to climb a ladder to be able to get up into the cockpit because they didn't want to sabotage anything. Like the entire inside of this belly is all one big room. Let's make sure we don't crash this, Trev. She is one of one, but we have some bad news. I'm sure some of you guys know. Well, our flight plans call for a change of pace. We're going to snap our fingers and head to the other side of the world. So yeah, here's our map. We are going to be flying over Kyiv, and we are going to be landing at this airport over here. Welcome to Ukraine. This should be interesting and a little bit sad. So, you know, I mean, it's such a unique aircraft. It's one of one. I think there was a second one that they started working on at one point, but construction on it was never finished. It had a cult following. People would travel all over the world to see this thing doing its thing. How often do you get to see something like this? The largest one of one thing in the world. Now, unfortunately, she is not flying any longer. Her final mission was in February of 2022, just over a year ago. She was traveling from China to Denmark, carrying a bunch of supplies, medical supplies, things like that, humanitarian supplies. And after that, she went back to Ukraine, the airport that we're flying to right now, and she was undergoing maintenance. I believe one of the central engines on one of the wings was taken off. While she was in the hangar at this airport, the Russians invaded during the Russian-Ukraine war, and it's believed that she was destroyed by an artillery shell. So she was just sitting in the hangar, minding her own business, and all of a sudden she was no more, at least for right now. There is a little bit of hope. A couple months later, in May of 2022, President Zelensky, the president of Ukraine, said that he intends to rebuild the dream. He's going to rebuild this plane. He wants her to serve as a tribute to all the pilots that lost their lives in the war, which I think is really, really cool. And obviously, I mean, you know, you think about what they've been through, the fact that Ukraine built this beast to be able to rebuild it again and say, you know, you can't keep us down, you can't hold us back. We've had this bad time, which is still currently going on, but you know, hopefully it subsides at some point. To be able to have this as you know, a trophy of that would be kind of cool. And it's estimated that it'll take about $3 billion and around 5 years to be able to do, which, man, 5 years to rebuild this thing is honestly really impressive, especially when you see the damage that's been done to it. But I think that's the current plan. We haven't heard much since then, but hopefully at some point this war is going to subside, and maybe this beaut of a bird can fly again. Yeah, we're coming in so hot here. I have no idea how to slow this thing down. Kill the engines. Okay, well, it might be a touch and go. We'll see. We're on the ground. How do I kill the engines? Speed brakes. Throttle. Nope. Off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Turn it off. Okay, you know what? All right. We're on it then. We're on. We're just doing a touch and go. It's like an air show. You know, we had some kids out there. They were wanting to see this thing, the big behemoth coming down, and now hopefully we're not going to crash at the end of this. Come on. Come on. Come on, Betty. Come on, Betsy. Okay. I'll see you guys later. Hope you guys enjoyed. Peace out.